Hey internet besties, it's Jeannie. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been forever. We have to catch up, you guys, okay? And I promise you, we are. But today's video is not about me, although I know some of you guys would love to hear me talk about myself all day, every day. Today's video is actually about how to get what you really want out of life, okay? And this video is going to be perfect for people who kind of have an idea of what they want but don't necessarily know how to get there, or don't really have the guidance to follow certain steps and be able to identify what exactly they need to do to become successful or get to where they need to be. So if you sound like one of those people, this video is perfect for you. Before I get started, I do want to give a little disclaimer saying that although I know that we all have a goal that we want to get to, the most important part that you do have to remember is that the journey is what makes the goal so worth it. Like, being able to go through the journey, have ups and downs and highs and lows, and be able to start from essentially nothing like most people is really what makes the success so gratifying. So just remember that, especially if you're in a low place, because oftentimes when we feel like we're down or like we're not capable of accomplishing anything, we start to beat ourselves up and think that, you know, oh, I'm not at this goal, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, like I'm a failure. But in reality, you're not. You're just experiencing the journey. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be able to value the success and getting to your goal without the journey. So just remember that. Before we get started, like this video, subscribe if you're new. You guys know me. My name is Jeannie, I guess. And if you don't know me, you're about to know me a little bit more. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get started. I do want to talk about 3 things that you do need in order to be able to follow these steps. Getting what you want out of life involves 3 things. Action. You have to take action. You cannot get what you want out of life if you don't take action. If you sulk and sit around and feel sorry for yourself and have a victim mindset, you're not going to get to your goals. You need to take action, okay? That's going to not only build your confidence, but it's also going to help you feel like you're able to move forward and get closer to your goal. You need to set an intention, and intention is going to keep you focused on your why you started your journey, why you want to be a business owner, why you want this 6-figure job, why you want a degree. Like, your intention is almost kind of like your why. So it's important to have that, so that way you don't get lost or distracted through the process and through the journey, because we are going to come across obstacles. We are going to run into some issues, which are inevitable, of course, but setting that intention is going to help you stay focused, and it's going to remind you of your why. And the next thing that you're going to need to get the most that you want out of life is clarity. You need to create clarity for yourself. It's going to be very, very hard for you to paint a clear picture and visualize exactly what you want if you have brain fog, if you're confused, if you don't trust yourself. A big part of clarity is trusting yourself. You have to trust yourself to see it through, okay? If you're not able to do that, then you may need to take a step back and do a little bit more shadow work and look a little bit more inwards to be able to effectively take these steps to get to your goals. Understand? Okay, great, you guys. So definitely get out a piece of paper and a pencil so we can take some notes, okay? But yeah, I got my computer right here, so if you see me look down, I'm just referencing my notes so that way I can clearly and concisely explain this to you guys. Number 1, you have to define your goals, okay? You have to be specific about what you want to accomplish. You have to be able to identify your goal, the end picture, essentially what you are working towards, okay? You need to get specific about this. You need to get as specific as possible so you can figure out the details to how you are going to succeed. I would recommend you write down your goals, whether it be like personal, professional, just like any type of goals. Like, let's say you want to lose 5 pounds in a month, right? That could be something that you want to accomplish. So I recommend writing that down. Or if you want to save $2,000, right? Write that down. Write it down. Define your goal. Make it clear for yourself so that way you are not confused. So the second thing I would recommend doing is being able to visualize your success. You may be familiar with visualization. You may already do it without even noticing it or knowing that you do it. But basically what visualization is being able to visualize in your mind, painting a picture in your mind of what that success looks like to you. So let's say you do want to lose 5 pounds. What does your life look like when you lose those 5 pounds? What size do you see yourself wearing? What outfits do you see yourself feeling comfortable in when you lose those 5 pounds? When I say visualize, I want you to be specific about what you see when you get to your goals. So if you want to save $2,000, what are you saving $2,000 for? What do you see yourself doing with these $2,000? How do you visualize that $2,000 helping you get to your goal? Okay, be visual. Paint that picture in your mind so you know what that feels like. Because the goal isn't to just see it, the goal is to feel it. Because feeling evokes emotion. And so once you feel that, even though it may not necessarily be true or a fact or right here, right now, because you're familiar with that feeling, it will feel attainable for you in the future. You will feel like you can do it because you have tapped into that frequency of that feeling, of that success, of feeling good, feeling confident. Of course, we need to feel those feelings on the way to, like in the journey as well. But visualizing your goal is going to help you get into contact with that feeling of feeling successful, feeling desirable, feeling confident. You know, those things are super duper duper important. So that's step number 2. Visualization also motivates you and helps clarify your desires. Okay, visualization, like how I was saying, it invokes feelings inside of you. It's going to invoke motivation. It's going to make you feel like I can really do this. It's going to really help you build that confidence. Okay, and that's what you need to be able to succeed. You need confidence. Okay, I don't want to say that if you're insecure you cannot get to your goals, because it's definitely possible, but confidence is like the push. So you'll be able to push yourself more. You'll be able to feel okay with stepping out of your comfort zone. That's what confidence does. It is a key factor in being able to step out of your comfort zone and take action. So you guys, my power just went out. Oh my gosh, my power just went out. Ah! Oh, okay. My power went out, you guys. So I don't have a ring light, but it's okay. That was weird. Did you guys hear that? Anyways, we're just gonna keep going, you guys, because light is not stepping nothing. Okay, so the next thing is to create a plan. Okay, creating a plan is super important because it keeps you on track with your goals. Okay, I want you to set deadlines and set milestones so that way you can track your progress. Deadlines and milestones are going to help you stay on track. So if you do get distracted, you can reference that and be able to say, okay, I still have this goal of losing 5 pounds. Man, I've gained 1 pound, but hey, I have until, you know, the end of next month to be able to do it, or I have 3 weeks from now to be able to do it. Like, I can still get it going. You know what I mean? So deadlines are going to ensure that you are on top of it. It's going to help you stay focused, and it will prevent you from getting lost in the journey. Okay, so that's why deadlines are super duper duper important. Something that I like to do, or something that I've done this past summer that has really helped me like really stay in touch with my goals, is creating a summer bucket list. And when you think of a summer bucket list, you think of like something fun, right? Like something like, oh, I'm gonna go show my titties at the club with my homegirls, like, you know what I mean? But that's not the case. My summer bucket list consisted of things like getting a job and saving this amount and paying my tuition, and, you know, also things like getting a bike or getting a gym membership. Like, you can mix things, but aside from what I put on my summer bucket list, the important thing was that throughout the summer I was able to reference those goals, and I was able to slowly check those things off of my list. And guess what? I accomplished the majority of those things off of my list because it feels so good to do that. You know, even if you take one little step, like, for example, I keep referencing losing 5 pounds for some reason. I don't know, maybe somebody wants to lose weight. But it could also, it's just like a basic goal that I know a lot of people have. But let's say you want to lose 5 pounds, right? So you decide, okay, well, I'm going to meal prep. On your list, you could put buy meal prep containers. Okay, simple. Or do 10,000 steps a day. Like my TikTok girlies, I know y'all know about this. 10K steps a day. Like that's the thing right now. But yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, make that list, okay? And when you check it off, you are going to feel so good about yourself. And I'm telling you, it builds so much confidence. Like, even if it's just something as simple as, like I said, going to the store and getting meal prep containers, when you check that off, you're gonna feel amazing that you did that. You know what I mean? Because you're one step closer to your goal. So just remember that, okay? Next thing, stay flexible, you guys, okay? I made this mistake as a person, as a business owner, you know, as an Aries, okay? Stay flexible. One of the worst mistakes that you can do when you're trying to reach a goal and you're young is to not be flexible. One of the main mistakes is to be too rigid, okay? Sometimes you have to open up and be open to constructive criticism, be open to changes, you know, be open to things that happen, because life is going to throw things at you. Like, God is going to throw things at you to test you and to see how dedicated you really are to your goal. You know what I mean? And you know, not everybody may be a believer. Like, you may not be big on faith, and I completely understand that. But you know, aside from God, life is just like that. Life has a funny way of working out. You know what I mean? So you have to stay flexible, because if you are not flexible, you may hyperfixate on the changes around you, and it may discourage you from accomplishing your goals. Okay, so staying flexible is super important. Another thing too is, if you stay flexible, you have more of a chance of discovering new opportunities. And I say this because if you are closed off to new energy, to new things, to changes, you're not opening that door. You're not walking through that door and saying, hey, what's in here? You know what I mean? You're shutting the door and you're turning your back without even knowing what's behind that door. It could be $10,000. You know what I mean? It could be a new friend. It could be a new lover, you know? So you have to stay flexible. You have to be open. You have to be open to change, because things do change. If you're not open to change, you're not going to learn. Unfortunately, it's going to be very hard for you to move forward. So flexibility is super duper important. And another thing about flexibility is that it gets you out of your comfort zone, and you build confidence when you're out of your comfort zone. It might be so scary, you guys, but you're building confidence. Okay, so staying flexible is going to help you get to where you need to be. The next thing, practice a positive mindset, you guys. Mindset is, I want to say 99.9999999 of the work, okay? Your mind is what controls your outcome, okay? So a positive mindset is extremely, extremely, extremely important. You need to practice gratitude, and you need to focus on your strengths. Yes, you can acknowledge your weaknesses, and you can definitely work on your weaknesses. That's very important. But focusing on your strengths is going to show you the things that you excel at. Your strengths show you the things that you can potentially succeed in. Okay, so for example, you're a very emotionally resilient person, right? Like, your strength is that you're very emotionally resilient. Emotionally resilient just means that you're able to bounce back from things emotionally, and like, you can handle that well. If you focus on that, nothing is ever going to be able to throw you off your game. Not a person, not financial hardship, not struggle, not failure. If you focus on your strength of emotional resilience, and you build on that, nothing is going to bother you. Nothing is going to unfaze you. Focusing on your strength is really going to help you manifest success, okay? It's going to help you manifest forward movement and inner understanding. A positive outlook on your life increases your resilience and your motivation. You're honestly not going to succeed anything if you wake up every day, another day, I don't want to be here, like I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, life is so hard for me, people just don't care about me. Like, that's not gonna get you anywhere, honey. I'm gonna tell you that right now, okay? You may have people in your life who are like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that, no, that's not gonna cut it. That's not a good enough excuse to not do what you need to do, okay? It's really easy to succumb to struggle, you know, because times are changing, but that's also a plus. Just how times are changing and society is changing, you can also change, okay? You can change your mindset, especially if you struggle with this. And it's not an overnight thing, you guys. This is something you're gonna have to continuously work on and continuously practice, okay? But it's possible. You just have to catch yourself when you're feeling like, you know, low, or like your mindset is not where it needs to be. You have to catch yourself and say, no, this is not who I am anymore. I don't identify with these thoughts. I don't identify with these feelings. So it's essentially like reprogramming your mind. Just like, you know how a phone needs a software update, right? Like, you need to update your phone so it can be up to date and perform efficiently. Think of your brain like that. Like, you're gonna have to update it so it can perform, and you're gonna have to constantly, you know, reprogram it and do everything you can to ensure that your mind is going smoothly and working for you and not against you, you know, because sometimes we're our own biggest enemies, and it all starts in the mind, okay? So really focus on that. Really focus on that positive mindset. Focus on gratitude, being grateful for what you have now. Even if it's not a lot, you have something. You have something to start off with. The next thing is take action. This is one of my favorite steps, okay? Taking action. Action builds momentum and it builds confidence, like how I was previously mentioning, okay? So taking action is going to be super duper important, just because if you don't, you'll be stagnant. You can say you're going to do a million things in your mind, you can make a list of all the things that you're going to do, but if you don't take action, nothing is getting crossed off on the list. You're going to be the same person who you were, you know, a year ago, even if you do make that list, because you're not taking action. Change manifests physically, but it happens emotionally and spiritually first, okay? So once you have that emotional and spiritual, take action. And you don't even need the emotional and spiritual to take action. Sometimes taking action is enough to help you get to that emotional and spiritual balance that you need. Sometimes we become hard on ourselves because we don't take action, but little do you know, taking that action is going to push you forward. It's going to help you build your confidence, even if it's super uncomfortable, you guys. There's things that we're not going to want to do, okay? There's so many things that we don't feel a desire to do. You know what I mean? But if you do it, you never know what's on the other side of that. You never know what's on the other side of your fears. So in order for you to be more confident and to feel secure in your plan, you have to take action. And the only way you're gonna know if it works or not is if you do it, okay? So take action. You're not a fool if you fail, okay? You're not stupid. You didn't waste your efforts. You learned something new, and you learned what you can prevent for next time. Like, you learned what mistake you made, you know what I mean? And you probably learned you won't do it again. We've all been there, you know what I mean? I've been there. So yes, take that action. I want to see you take action, okay? Step number 8, okay? This one's also important as well. Seek support, you guys, okay? I know sometimes this road or this path, especially if you're a special person, if you have a special destiny, if you have a special calling, it can feel very lonely. You can probably think, man, I'm here for everybody, but who's here for me? Or, you know, I'm teaching everybody, who's gonna teach me? You know what I mean? Like, it can get lonely, and you can start to wonder, like, man, am I around the right people? And you start to question a lot of things, you know? But if you have a support system, use it. Seeking support is going to help you get through those bumpy times where you do come into contact with these obstacles and these changes that you weren't expecting, you know? Networking and mentorship can be invaluable, okay? Sometimes those connections that we make are way more important than any tools we buy, guides that we get from Instagram or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, personal connection is invaluable. That in itself is powerful enough to help you feel like you're ready. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying don't rely on people to figure it out for you. Don't rely on other people for the answers. Don't rely on other people to figure it out for you, because at the end of the day, they can't. Your journey is unique to you. You know what I mean? But if you have someone to discuss, like, hey man, like, I've just been having a really bad week. Like, you know, for example, I quit my job and I can't find another one, or, you know, I feel like nobody understands me, like that kind of thing. Like, if you have support, you will feel a lot better and you won't hold things in, and it will prevent you from getting stagnant. Hold on, you guys, I see a spider, and unfortunately I'm gonna have to kill it because I don't like spiders. Okay, you guys, I'm back, and I actually switched my camera because the lighting was kind of weird over there. I'm filming this video without power, so if it's dark, that's why. Number 9, learn continuously, okay? Sometimes I feel like people forget that, like, they're a student of life, especially when they get to a certain point or the certain level that, you know, they've been working so hard to be at. Just remember, you're always a student of life, okay? Whether it be going back to school, taking some random classes here and there, just doing research, reading books, studying certain random interests or hobbies that you have. Always remember, you're going to be a student of life. You're never going to be too good to learn something new, okay? So this ties hand in hand with, like, being flexible and being open to change, just because you have to be open to the new things that life is teaching you. You know what I mean? A lot of times those obstacles and those challenges that we experience are teaching us to be flexible, to be open to change, and they're teaching us to continue the journey of learning, okay? Like I said in the beginning of the video, the journey is where the gems are at, okay? You can get to your goal, but if you don't value the journey, you're not gonna value where you are when you get to that point, when you accomplish your goal. You're not gonna value it. You're just gonna do it and be like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to have that gratitude for the space that you're in because you haven't picked up on those gems throughout the journey. Seeking knowledge and skills that will help you achieve your goal is not only going to help you feel more confident. I keep referencing confidence because a big part of getting what you want out of life is being confident. You know what I mean? So with that being said, learn a new skill. Or learn a skill that involves your goal, you know? So like I said, if you're trying to lose the 5 pounds in a month, learn how to do yoga, learn, you know, stretches, things like that. Learn new meals, study. If you're trying to make $2,000, study resources that are going to help you get to your financial goal. Study ways to save money, study ways to invest your money, things of that nature. Continuously study because it's going to help you build knowledge and it's going to help you take action. You'll be able to take action more confidently if you have knowledge. So studying that and being a student of life is going to push you to take action, because once you've compiled enough information, you're going to be like, wow, I can do this. I feel confident enough to move forward, and that's what we need. That's what's going to get you to your goal. Number 10, celebrate progress. This is so important, especially for my people who are very hard on themselves, who are perfectionists, who were conditioned to believe that certain successes aren't good enough. And I wholeheartedly disagree, because every single accomplishment, it should be celebrated. Even if it's a job that you didn't want, like for example, you had 3 jobs lined up and the one with the lowest pay and the most strangest position calls you back, but you need the job, so you take it. That needs to be celebrated. That needs to be celebrated. Being able to get that job is a celebration in and of itself. Or you have a goal to save those $2,000, but you only make it to $1,500 in your deadline. That is still something to celebrate about, because you know what? You can still save the rest of the $500 and then you can celebrate again. You know what I mean? So it's really important to celebrate your goals, celebrate those milestones, celebrate yourself, even if it's not exactly what you want, because then you're almost going to be chasing kind of like a high. You're going to be like, oh, well, I did this. Okay, what's next? I did this. Okay, what's next? And then you're going to end up in this rat race of not being able to be in an appreciative state, not being able to express your gratitude for where you are at this moment, because you're so focused on what's next. You're not appreciating what's here in this time. So celebrate those small wins. Celebrate that 1 pound that you lost. Celebrate those 100 steps you were able to take today. Celebrate, you know, that healthy meal you ate, even if you ate 3 Oreos before you went to bed. Celebrate those small wins and those small victories, because if you focus on that, you're going to continue to have more victories. Okay, you guys, I hope you're really liking this video so far. Like, I really hope that this can help you and, you know, push you forward, and help you feel confident enough to move forward in your journey. One final tip, and that tip is going to be to reflect and adjust. And this also ties into staying flexible as well. I want you to reflect on your milestones. I want you to reflect on the steps that you've taken once you started your journey. I want you to reflect on the mistakes that you have made and how you can prevent them from happening again. I want you to reflect on what it is that you need to work on as a person in order to feel confident enough to study and to take action. I want you to reflect on those things and adjust, okay? Adjust if you need to. Just because you make a 40-page plan, okay, and you feel really good about it, doesn't mean you're gonna follow it to the T, you guys, okay? Adjust as needed. Adjusting is gonna help you get a clearer picture of how to get to the goal. So if you have your 40-page plan and you get to page 3 and you're trying something new and you're like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but you still keep trying to do it, even though like God is telling you like, oh, this is not the right thing, maybe you should try it in a different way, or try something else, or study it a little harder before you continue, like, and you keep going and going and going. It's like banging your head against the wall constantly. Like, eventually something's gotta give, you know? So sometimes you gotta know when to take a step back, readjust your wig a little bit, you know, and then kind of go from there. But readjusting is super important because not only does it keep you on track, but it also, like I said, helps you get a clearer picture of how to get to your goal. And there's nothing wrong with readjusting, you guys. There's nothing wrong with being open to change, okay? Because it's gonna happen, and you'll be more successful if you are open to adjustment versus closed off to it, okay? You don't want to close that door. Don't keep that door closed, you guys. Keep it open. Let the blessings flow in, because next thing you know, you're gonna be closer to your goal than what you imagined, okay? Just to wrap up this video, I really hope that you guys enjoyed these tips that I had. Please don't forget that the journey is so important. Like, even if you don't feel like you are where you need to be, you are where you're meant to be at this moment, and it's still working out in your favor, okay? God wants it to work out in your favor. Don't forget that. You just have to do the work, okay? And sometimes that involves harsh truths. Sometimes it involves doing things that we're not comfortable doing. You know what I mean? But as long as you hush the outside noise, tune into yourself, get serious about your goals, and you really want it, it's going to happen. But you have to really want it, you guys. You have to really want it and put in the work, okay? Because it's not going to happen if you just want it. If you just want it, you're going to keep wanting it. You know what I mean? But if you put in the work, it's going to happen. It's not if it's going to happen. It's going to be a matter of time when it happens. Okay, so don't forget that, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Jeannie the Genie. I'm gonna link it in the description. And then comment below if you guys like have any other tips for people who are trying to get what they really want out of life, who are trying to become successful. Put in the comments like a tip that has worked for you. I'll see you, internet besties. Mwah.